Have you ever made a change in your life so drastic you completely did a 180 in every area of your life? And was it worth it? Well, we'll find out tonight as we hear from music artist Merlo Moncada, founder and CEO of Life's Been Different, an emerging and empowering media presence. It's an all-tell episode, and it's about to get real tonight on A New Thing Live. Are you ready? Hello, everyone. Welcome to A New Thing Live. My name is Cyndi Galley, and I am the host of this amazing, yes, I said amazing, and inspirational talk show where every Monday night we come on live and we talk about the things that God is doing in our hearts and in our lives. And hey, He's pushing us always in a gentle way to do that new thing. And we know what that new thing is. For every one of us, there's something different, but every one of us, I am convinced, has at least one thing that we know we're supposed to do, right? Whether it's eating differently, whether it's going to bed earlier, whether it's budgeting your money, whether it's saying yes to the call, like, yes, I'm called to ministry. Yes, I'm called to do this. Yes, I'm supposed to write a book. There's so many things that we know we're supposed to say yes to. For me, the one thing for me is yes, I'm supposed to start walking. I already know this. And so what is that new thing? And so there's something new going on every day that's available. And it's an opportunity just for you and just for me. And so that's what this show is all about. It's a feel-good show. It's an inspirational show. Yes, it is a faith talk show. We talk with different leaders and we just hear some of the challenging things that we've had to face in life. The journey that we're all in is all different. It looks different for every one of us, but yet every one of us has the ability to come on the other side with fruitfulness, to come on the other side in victory. And so that is what this show is about. It's to say, you can do it. We believe in you 100%. You can do it. And so it's no coincidence that I was a cheerleader in college, because that really is my heart and my passion is to cheer people on, to say, yes, you can do this. You got this. It's in you. You can get up. If you need to take a break, take a break. But you can do this. If it's in you and it's in your heart and it's a dream that you think about and it just won't leave you, then it's for you to do. So we want to thank you to the show. Hey, tell us where you're from. Let us know. Sometimes we get people from New Mexico, Texas, Wisconsin, Oklahoma. The list goes on and on. Michigan. But we love hearing where you're from. This is an interactive show. So whether you're joining us on Facebook or you're joining us on YouTube, we just want to make sure that you just say, hey, yes, I'm a part of this A New Thing Live tribe and community, and that you look forward to being with us on Monday nights. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And would you do us a favor and just say, you know what, I'm going to help get the word out about this show, because it's done something in my life. Saturday, I was at the pop-up fellowship market, and this precious lady came up to me and it just really touched me. She said, thank you so much for what you're doing. I watched your show and it really, really just blessed me. And then she blessed me and brought me a yummy coffee from her favorite coffee place. And I just thought, oh my goodness, that really touched me to the core. So we know that this show is doing stuff in your life, but we want to hear about it. Tell us all about it. We're excited. We want to rejoice with you. And again, for those of you, sometimes you might just be saying, I'm having a rough week. Then reach out to us. We want to pray with you specifically for your prayer requests. You can reach out to us at hello@anewthinglive.com. And of course, all that information will be there at the very end. I did not bring my fan, which might be a problem, but I'm going to get it in just a minute. But I do want to welcome you. We have a great show for you today. Can you believe that it is now April 26th? What in the world? Where is time going? It is so crazy to me that we're already just a few days away from May. But spring, my friends, has sprung. So we're just going to grab spring and everything by the bullhorns, and we're just going to have a positive attitude and outlook and say, yes, with God, all things are possible. So let's do the very best we can do. Again, just staying safe in the midst of it all. But we just do really pray that everyone's doing well. So yes, yesterday we're going to talk a little bit about what's been going on this week. You know, in the beginning, I like to kind of fill you in on some of the things that I like to either just kind of peruse about and say, "Ooh, what was going on here?" Well, I happen to own a fashion magazine called Fashioned Magazine, and it's fashionedmagazine.com, FASHIONED, like we've all been fashioned for great things. So Fashioned Magazine. And so because of that, I like to look at more the fashionable side of things and say, well, what was they wearing and all this? Because last year was so different because of the pandemic. So I want to just give my hats out to, and I'm hoping I'm saying her name right, but it's Yeri Han. Yeri Han. She was wearing a Louis Vuitton, a gorgeous red dress, just stunning and beautiful. All of the dresses were very beautiful, just kind of reminded me of that old school Hollywood. And maybe it's because we didn't have the red carpet as much last year, but I just thought it was so elegant. Of course, I love, because my hair is so big, anytime it can be pulled back, I'm saying yes, I'm all about it. But I am a huge fan, if you couldn't tell, of the high collar. So I like turtlenecks. I love scarves. I like ascots, anything that's around the neck. And I've always just been that way. So Diane Keaton, you're my girl, because most every movie she's wearing a turtleneck or a scarf. And I just love that high neck clothing piece. In fact, I always say my wedding gown is going to have one of those, just because it's just, I don't know, there's something about it. And no, there's nobody yet in the picture, but I'm just saying that when I've looked over, the wedding magazines and all of this, I say, oh, that is gorgeous. And they always have that high neck. So we'll see. Y'all will see, because everybody will know. 51 and still waiting for God's very, very best. So just hats off to Han Yeri, but I think it's Yeri. They say the last name first, I believe, but I don't quote me on that. I just want to make sure that I'm honoring her and saying her name right for wearing that beautiful Louis Vuitton dress. And then Laura Pausini, who is an Italian singer. She actually was nominated for Best Song from the movie Lo Sai, I believe it's pronounced, which is The Road Ahead. She wore an elegant black off-the-shoulder gown by Valentino. I mean, just stunning and beautiful, even to the point where her hands were in her pockets. I was like, yes, girl. Again, that's going to be a prerequisite for my wedding gown. I want my hat to be able to put my little hands in my pockets. So gorgeous dress. And last but not least, regarding the Oscars, I just want to say congratulations, a huge congratulations. And again, I hope I'm saying her name right, but it's YUH-JUNG. YUH-JUNG, or maybe it's YUH-JUNG, 73 years old, who made history yesterday as the first Korean woman to win Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars. And just in light of everything that's been going on, and tears flooded my eyes. My heart was leaping with joy. And I said, congratulations. May this be the first of many to all of our Asian sisters and brothers to win. Hey, every one of us has a talent. Every one of us should be celebrated. If we've got the talent, then we need to be looking across the board at all of the nations, okay? I'm just saying, all the nations. And so I was so excited to hear this and see this. In fact, we have a really quick clip. It's under a minute of her being interviewed after the Oscars, and just take a quick look. And I believe I'm saying her name right, is YUH-JUNG for the movie Minari.
Well, it's not happened right at the moment because I had a long career. I'm trying to build up my career, step by step. There's nothing just happen bang like this. I don't believe that kind of thing. And this award means, well, sometimes it's happy, very happy when you get it. But me, myself, I don't believe in competition, especially in our field, because we are comparing different movie, different role. So it wasn't, I'm just lucky tonight. Just luckier than the other nominees. Luckier than them. And maybe who knows, it's American hospitality for the Korean actor, I think.
So precious and so sweet. I loved her heart. And again, we just want to say congratulations. And this is an actress who's, as she said, she's been acting for a good majority of her life. And I believe they were asking her because she was up against, and I believe it was Glenn Close. And so they had just asked her thoughts in that, if I'm not mistaken. And she just felt like, no, this isn't a competition. And I'm like, yes. This is what it's all about. This is our message, that we shouldn't be in competition with anybody, because every one of us are uniquely gifted to do one thing that only you can do, that only you can fulfill. It's your purpose and your purpose alone. So yes, having others like you, like-minded, even called to the same area, run with them. You know, if you're an eagle, then you're going to want to fly with the eagles, right? But I love her heart. Like, the competition is no good. Comparison. I was part of an event a couple of weeks ago, and in the conversation, we were just talking about how comparison. It may have even been on the show. There's so many different dialogues I'm a part of, but someone had said that comparison, it really is a creativity killer. It was on the show. I believe it was with Heather Bray and Amanda Clements, as they are both vendors. They both do crafts, gorgeous product that they create, but they look at it as an opportunity to encourage each other, because two are better than one. And for me, I always feel like I get that creativity going with that synergy. It's like, oh yeah, that's good. And so I like to bounce things off of people. So I just appreciated her heart. And again, we just want to say congratulations to, I'm going to say her name right, YUH-JUNG. So we're just so happy for you, and for the movie, just making it a platform for you to be able to even have this role and this nomination and this award. So happy for you. Okay. So last week we talked about that this past week was going to be National Teaching Your Children How to Save Money Day, which was this past Thursday. And so we had hoped to get Money Mike. Money Mike is still in the process of publishing their books, which we are so excited about. We have had the creator of Money Mike, which is Charles Todd. And yes, all the fun, Money Mike and the gang, just so fun. And I just love it because they're so important to teach children how to save. I don't know about you. Did you learn how to save when you were a child? I really didn't. That wasn't something, yes, I had a piggy bank, but I can tell you I was always probably breaking that piggy bank. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it in just a bit with one of our producers, and you'll see a little bit more of it. But it's so important. It's so key to teach your children these principles that are important as adults, but teaching them now, even in a fun and creative way, so that they can enjoy it and that it can become a principle and a part of who they are. So we're going to take a quick little 15-second clip at Money Mike, and then we're going to jump into another little fun part of tonight's show. Money Mike, where are you at?
Hey kids, it's Money Mike. Money as easy as 1, 2,
Money
3.
Mike, where you
See
at?
you soon.
That's Money Mike. Can we show Money Mike again? Hello.
Hey kids, it's Money Mike. Money as easy as 1, 2, 3. See you soon.
When I said it was quick, I meant it was quick, but so cute. So I'm super excited about when the books are released, because we will be bringing Charles Todd and his lovely, gorgeous wife, Angela, back to the show. They actually are the host of a show on YouTube called The Abundant Life. And for those of you that just feel like, gosh, I'm struggling, I don't know how to get ahead financially, go to YouTube and do a search for The Abundant Life. These principles that they share and teach, they are able to share and teach them because they've lived it and they've walked it. She talked about how they was broke and maybe bankrupt. I don't remember if bankrupt was in their part of their story, but definitely broke, and definitely had to, live with parents and family members just to be able to kind of make ends meet. And even divorced after being married, and then got back together because God restored their marriage. I mean, their story is phenomenal. So, if you just have a few extra minutes, go take a look at their YouTube channel. But more than that, today, we just really wanted to highlight the power and the beauty of teaching your children to save. So important. It's so important. And so with us today, to teach our young humans how to save is actually, she's a preschool teacher, yes. Preschool teacher by day and segment producer on A New Thing Live by night. But it's our very own Kyree McField. And, unfortunately, she was exposed to COVID a little over a week ago. And it's unfortunate because the person that exposed her actually knew that they had COVID. But they didn't say anything. So she's quarantining right now, so we're not able to meet. But I am excited that we were able to record and to film a little bit of what she wanted to share as a preschool teacher, some of the fun things that she's done with her kids. And then we just take it to a really fun place. And so Kyree's segment, let's go ahead and roll that video.
Hello. It's so good to have you on here. And I'm so excited. As you know, this past week was National Teach Your Children to Save.
Yeah.
And so, we do have some great friends at The Abundant Life with their YouTube channel. And they're also in the process of getting ready to launch their book, which Money Mike is one of their characters. But until they can come back on the show, you and I were just talking and having conversation about some of the things that you grew up with, learning how to save, which I think is wonderful. I think parents should teach their kids how to save.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
Right? Yeah. So talk to us about some of the things that you experienced growing up as a child, and then we'll just go from there, girl.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I absolutely agree. The younger, actually, the better. And in fact, what I went through as a child is my parents actually signed me up for, okay, ready? A Looney Tune account. How cute is that? Like Bugs Bunny,
cute.
Happy Duck. Yeah, a Looney Tune account. And so my dad, he was in the Air Force, and I'm guessing a lot of bases, they have credit unions. And so at every credit union, they have a Looney Tune program. It's a youth savings program, and it's to help teach kids how to do money. Anything money, from savings to checking to spending, like everything, even just, dollar amounts and, adding things together, math.
Which is crucial for kids.
Yes. We all need to know those things, right? I mean, that's not something that, like cursive, I'm sorry. I learned cursive in elementary, and I'm really sad that I don't have to use it now as an adult. I mean, they really pressed that into me, Cyndi, about cursive. So unlike cursive, money management skills is something everybody needs to know, right?
Right, right.
I looked up a couple different banks that offer some youth saving programs.
Oh,
and
great.
I tried to find at least three, because there's quite a few of them, but I tried to find three that I feel would be most convenient to anybody in any territory. I know not everybody is out here in LA or Orange County. Some people live in small towns, like my family in Clovis, New Mexico. Hey, smaller towns that probably don't have certain banks. So I tried to go with banks that could be convenient to anybody. So the three that I chose, the first one is Chase. So Chase First Banking has a program for children ages 6 to 17, and they offer $0 monthly service fees. But with Chase Bank, you do have to have an account. So the parent or the guardian must have a Chase account in order for their child to have an account. The other one is Bank of America. They offer a minor savings account for children all under 18. Because guess what? Babies need a savings account too. And no, babies are not counting money, but you can start their investment for college when they're a baby. Even if that means $1 a day, $5 a week, that's going to add up And then when they get
$5
ready,
a month, $1 a week, $4 a month, $5 a month. It all adds up.
yes, it all adds up. It all adds up. And then when they need that money, no matter when it is, whether their first car, their first date, they've got it.
College,
it's in their bank.
college.
Yes, college, first house.
I put myself through college, bachelor's and master's, and I'm still paying for it.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
there was no money saved from my college education.
Yeah, I mean, I know to some people it might seem like a baby, really a bank account, but really if you invest early, it's going to
Yes.
pay off in the latter run.
Absolutely.
And another one, the last one I wanted to mention is a company called Greenlight. Now, this company was actually created by parents. So they have a debit card. It's just for kids. So this debit card, the parents can control on their phone using an app. They can add money to it, such as allowance, or like, you know, as I was as a kid, you know, I would tell my parents last minute, oh, hey, it's fill day and I don't have money, or hey, it's this and I don't have this. You know, my parents can quickly send me $20, quickly send me $5 to take care of what I need, you know.
Love it.
I'm not without it. Or if I'm on a field trip and, you know, I lose something, my parents can here's $50. It's sent you, it's in my debit card. And then also when I use that debit card, they get alerts for that. So they see, oh, my daughter just used that at this location. Wait a minute, she's not supposed to be there. Let me give her a call.
Another form of parental control. I love
There
it.
you
That's
go.
brilliant.
But also something I thought was really cool about Greenlight. So you can attach your child's chores to Greenlight. And so when they finish certain chores, they get a perk. I was like, okay, that's really cool. Like everything is just on this debit card, and the debit card, you see my debit card, the debit card, they can
Debit card.
the debit card,
Debit
they
card.
can customize it however they want their debit card to look. So if they want to put their face on it, if they want to put their favorite band on there, favorite color, whatever they want, it's their debit card. I thought that is just so
Mickey character.
Mickey.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm jumping the gun.
Mickey Minnie, Winnie the Pooh,
Goo, the goo,
the Goof,
the goo,
the
Gorsh.
Goof. Yes, so
Gorsh. Yeah.
we could go on and on for Disney characters. We have to have a conversation about Disney characters another
Yeah,
time.
we'll bring it
Another
back. We'll bring it back. Okay.
But that's just 3 of many different companies that offer youth savings programs. If you just Google minor savings programs, youth saving programs, even like baby investment bank accounts, there's going to be so many banks that pop up, especially if you're in a smaller town. It might be best for you to do that so you can see, hey, my bank actually does provide that. I can set that account up and then start investing in my child. I mean, who doesn't want to invest in their child? I don't even have a child and I want to invest in my child. Like, who doesn't want to do that?
Well, and that brings a good point, because you might even have kids in your life. I remember a really good friend of mine. He was one of my very best friends as a young adult. And when he and his wife had their first daughter with their first baby, I invested and I opened up a savings account for her as an infant. Yeah. Unfortunately, that bank is closed and I don't even know what happened to that savings account, but absolutely. And I think, again, it just goes back to, even for me, not really being around that whole type of like, it's important to save. I was actually taught it was important to give your offering at church. And I never really understood the concept of tithe and offering until I got older. But I would always take an offering to church. I knew that I gave a little portion of what I did have to the Lord. And so, thankful for that, because that still carried on. And then it opened up to the whole new, world of tithing and offering.
Right.
But other than that, I didn't really, again, in my household now, my dad, my biological dad, is very big on saving, as are our Galley family. And what my dad did was, he wasn't directly involved in raising me, but what he did do was he bought me several savings bonds. And, I think which is great. But I think one of the downside of that is me not really understanding that the value increases over an X amount of time, years of just not touching it. And sometimes we needed it. You know, my mom was a single mom. Sometimes I needed to use it to help out.
Yeah.
And then quite honestly, it might even be a couple of them were in a box somewhere in the garage. Like I just didn't know what happened to all those savings bonds. But you're absolutely right. Like you can start today, you can start small, you know?
And again, if just like what you were talking about, you know, if you would have known the importance of investing in those savings bonds and letting them build up, you would have done that. We can tell kids that, like, we have to give kids credit. Kids are smarter than we think.
Yes.
So we just let kids know this is what this means. This is how we manage money. Like, yeah, I know you want to spend it on this now, but if you save it, then you can get this later. Like,
yes,
we need to teach these principles now, so that way they're not adults like us learning as adults.
Yes, it's so true. And you know, I'm thinking of an episode of a show that I used to watch when I really wasn't, you know, walking upright in and in this particular episode, the character had the opportunity to no longer rent but to buy, and she didn't have any money to buy a house. She had over $40,000 worth of shoes, but she did not. And so, you know, being a single female, sometimes I can understand, you know, especially living in Southern California, it's like you live sometimes from paycheck to paycheck and just a really tight budget. And so I think that's so important, just to give the kids the understanding at a very young age that it is good to save. This is how we save. This is what saving looks like. You can, you know, I remember not one of my best friends, but my best friend, her and her husband had this motto, and it was live like no one else right now so that you can live like no one else later.
I love that.
And so for the first 10 years of their marriage, they lived on a property on his parents' land, and it was very small and confined and one bedroom. I mean, I don't even know if it was 500 square feet. I mean, it was very small.
Got it.
And yet when that 10 years ish were done, they were able to buy a brand new house in North Carolina, in Charlotte, all cash, paid for in full, paid for their cars in full. And so now they don't have the monthly pressure that a lot of homeowners currently have of, I got to make the rent, I got to make the rent, I got to make the rent. For me, that was such a beautiful example. And sometimes I may want to purchase something or, you know, go this route, maybe something a little bit more out of my price range. And then I always think, live like no one else now, even at 51, gonna be 52 in a couple of months, but live like no one else now.
So good.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, girl. So that you can live like no one else later. So yes, I love that. And so true. So good. Teach your kids now the importance of saving and even shopping, you know, like I am now. That's one thing. I am an avid clearance shopper. I go to my favorite stores and I will go to the clearance rack.
Oh yeah.
Actually, let me reverse a little bit. I think this probably started, I was already in my 30s when I just had this whole understanding of like, just the importance of waiting. Like you don't need to have it right now, but there is something to be said about waiting for something that you really want. So I would go at that time, my favorite store shop was Banana Republic. So I'd go into Banana Republic and I go, oh, I want that. I want that. I want that. I want that. And then what I would do is I would wait. And I'd go back in a month and see, is it on sale yet? Is it on clearance? Is it on the clearance rack? And that's how I shopped in my young adult years, was that delayed gratification. That's such an underestimated word that a lot of people don't even know the word. they don't understand the meaning and the value behind delayed gratification. Wait a bit for it. You don't need it right now.
Because we're all Veruca salts right now. We're in a generation of Veruca salts. I want it and I want it now. Give it to me now. Like that commercial. It's my money and I want it now. People want it.
Well, if it is your money. So yeah, but it's true. And just that whole idea of delayed gratification and clearance shopping, bargain hunting. And you know me, you know your girl, she loves to thrift shop and so that the other thing. So I don't like to pay full price. I rarely pay full price for anything unless it's just something that I really, really need. Or even then, though, I will wait. When the CDs came out, I waited before I got a CD player. When DVD players came out, I waited a year before. I'm like, no, I still got me some good VHS movies. My VHS player works. So I'm not that person that has to go out and buy the newest and the latest. And I'm definitely not the person that needs to keep up with the Joneses, which is a whole other segment. Because I think a lot of people fall into that trap of wanting to keep up the appearance, and they're spending more than they need to when they could just cut back and do with what they have and be faithful, be good stewards with what they have. All of that I've learned in my after 30s, like late 30s and then 40s, it was solidified. Like, oh, I don't need to have everything right now. In fact, my iPhone, I've already had it for almost 3 years. It's still the 8 Plus. It still works well. Now I might be doing an upgrade, but for almost a year, Verizon's been saying you need an upgrade. You qualify for an upgrade. And I'm like, it still works. I have a lot of storage on there.
Yeah.
Now I think for photo and filming purposes, it would behoove me to get a better camera. But I can wait till the summertime again.
Right.
The 12 Pro Max is out and I'm still rocking my 8 Plus and glad to do it.
Woo!
My faithful phone. But yes, just the power of showing the kids, shopping. And you had mentioned even some fun little activities that you used to be a part of when you were younger growing up as well.
I did. Well, one of the things that we used to do as kids is me and my brother used to collect quarters. So there was a time, I don't know if you remember, when they had quarters and, everybody had quarters, but each of the back of the quarters were different. Like they had different presidents on each of the back of the quarters. So during that time we had a book and we would fill up our quarter book and try to collect all of that stuff.
Yes, I do remember that. I remember having a little book probably about the size of a passport or like the little size of a little bank account savings. And then, yes, you would put your little quarters in there and you just feel like you were the richest person on the earth.
Hot stuff. I have Thomas Jefferson and my little book. I'm a little book. You don't have Thomas Jefferson, but I do. But something else, Cyndi, that, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but then also even when you're shopping, I think that's an important opportunity to teach your kids, when you're taking them to the market with you, just the value of price, right? Portion, price, amount, ounces.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And as like a preschool teacher too, I always tell my parents to involve your children in those decisions. Your children in that, because it really does make them feel like they have a huge part in the family and that they can help and help these things. And then when you're teaching them about money management, and they see all these soaps, you can explain to them, yeah, this soap is nice, but it's like $7. This soap over here is $3 and it does the same exact thing. We're going to choose the $3 one because it's going to save us $4. Money management teaches them subtraction, addition, all that stuff.
So good. So shopping, right? I mean, who doesn't need to learn a thing or two as we're shopping? Let's go shopping and practice the whole principle of saving.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right.
I'll meet you at Zara.
Yes. Actually, and one of the things I do remember, and then we're going to transition into something a little bit more, well, this is fun too, but I do remember my mentor, my pastor years ago, and at that time he was my boss and I was probably in my early 30s, maybe late 20s, I can't remember, but it was in the 1990s, like somewhere between 95-ish. And I remember, showing him like, oh, I got this, or even maybe telling him what I had purchased. And the question that he had asked me was, had you budgeted for that? Because I said, I saved X amount of dollars. And the question was, well, did you plan on buying that? Like, was that already budgeted for? I was like, no. And then he said, so then actually, even though you think you saved money, you really didn't save money. You lost money because it was, and I was like, no, but I saved money. Yes. But if it was something you hadn't planned on purchasing and it wasn't in your budget, then you lost it. And then it kind of locked it. Oh, wow, that's so good. So sometimes we need to be sure that we are, actually not sometimes, we need to make sure we're budgeting for these things and for these items so that you really do save money.
Yeah.
But if you're buying something that you didn't plan on buying, then you've actually spent, and that's money gone that cannot be replaced. And so I think that is so great. And I'm so excited about Money Mike coming out,
Yes.
I know their books are rolling out soon. And then of course, one of their cute little characters is the little Miss, Piggy. And that's just a basic, simple, easy way to save is with the piggy bank. In fact, I have a piggy bank somewhere in my boxes. I just moved not too long ago. So, but she's a cute little rose gold pink piggy. And, and sometimes it's just with a dollar, a couple of quarters, and then before you know it, it's full. Break that bad boy open and see how much you have in there. I think something else that someone that I knew did years ago is anytime, and a lot of people don't use cash anymore, but this was more in a time when it was more, they weren't so much in the cashless society. They were, a lot of what we purchased was used either check or cash. And what they had done is any leftover change they had, all the change just went somewhere. And they had like over $100 in change, and so even don't underestimate the value of a penny or a nickel or a dime, because at the end of the day, it all totals up. And even if that's how you want to show your kids, to not underestimate the value of even a penny. In fact, tonight after the show, I'm doing a fun virtual live sale, from my closet. Yes. And, even those types of things, like repurposing things, and then not just, some people just go, I'm just going to throw it away, or I'm just going to, now, yes, I also do enjoy donating as well. But sometimes if you feel like things are a little tight or a little snug, what are some things that you can do? And I remember just having the whole aha moment of selling what I have that I'm no longer using. You don't need to, it doesn't need to be accumulated. Some people just accumulate. And then it just becomes this heavy load as you move from place to place to place, which is kind of what happened in my situation. Although, to be fair, I do run fashion magazine and teen fashion magazine, and I've always had this desire to open up a little tea room, a little tea house. And so I have so many Chinaware, teacups and saucers and things like that. And so, with the pandemic and all of that, am I going to open up my little tea room? I don't know. I'm not closed off to the idea, but it's not going to happen this year.
Well, also speaking of, pandemic and selling too, I mean, if having a garage sale doesn't really float your boat right now, there are other services where you can sell, like Poshmark, OfferUp. There are places where you could just take a really nice picture of, an item of clothing that you don't wear anymore and post it on the site, and they take care of everything else for you. So there are ways that you can get your stuff sold, even if, out on your front lawn isn't your thing, which it's my thing.
Exactly. It used to be my thing pre-pandemic, but that's exactly why I'm doing virtual is, I've got Venmo, I've got PayPal, I have Poshmark, I have Etsy, all these different ways where you can just, somebody can purchase your items, your merchandise, your product, and then, and then you don't have to deal with all the exchanging of the money. So
and so, when there's not a lot of people to touch, how many of us pass holders, we literally would just go to the park and get a special treat and find a nice bench and sit there and watch people.
But that was especially, especially the times I would go by myself. Because, when you have a pass holder and you're single, then you can do that. And that was one of the things I just love, being able just to go by myself, walk through
Yeah.
at my own pace. And yeah, I would just go sometimes for that hot chocolate, my abuelita's hot chocolate. And, or sometimes I would just crave my little chocolate covered frozen banana. I mean, just, those little treats and things that we definitely, took for granted for those of us that lived out here.
Yeah.
But it is great news. I probably will not be a pass holder. I don't even know. Do you have any updates on the pass holder situation? Are they going to be having?
No, they're not
Okay.
They don't have any updates on the pass holder. But right now, just for ticketing for Disneyland, it's just California residents. And ticket price is really not that bad. I mean, I saw 145. So
yeah, they're starting at 145 is what the one for this Friday was for 145.
But it is
so I'm
one park. It's not both.
Yes.
So that's probably why it's about Fridays, because DCA is the one that's available, not Disneyland. Disneyland's the one that's been closed. So everybody's like, I have to go there.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's okay.
No, I'm super excited. Yes. And so let me see. Let me just make sure to get tickets or to get more information, you'll want to go to disneyland.disney.go.com.
Yes.
Or just go to Google and just do a search for Disneyland tickets or Disneyland reopening. And it's all very simple, easy to navigate. So we're excited for those of us that are out here in the SoCal area. If you do go to Disneyland, please let us know. Say hi to some of our favorite characters. I don't even know how that's going to, I know that they said there's going to be no hugs. So I would imagine that that's, from the characters and rightly so. A really dear friend of mine works at Disney. She's on the executive management side of things. And so she's just been filling me in. And she's like, it is crazy right now what we're doing to gear up. But she's like, but we're so excited. I mean, this has been, because really, I remember back a year ago, she had told me that they thought they were going to reopen in the summer. And then that just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so this is a celebration, not just for Southern California, but all of you Disney lovers and those of you who love Mickey and Minnie, our favorite mouse duo.
Favorite mouse.
Yes. And so, Kyree, thank you so much for being joining us today, which will be tonight. Thank you for just sharing your heart with us about how to help kids save. And then I'm going to see you, actually, already seeing you now, because now you're on the backside helping to produce the show.
Well, it's great to be on the front side,
Yes.
A couple times,
Yes.
I love it. I love it. It's great to, be like, hey,
yes. Well, I always love having you on here. So we'll have to have you back sooner than later. But thank you so much. So much love to you, everybody. Kyree McField. All right. Thank you, Kyree.
How much fun was that? So we were able to talk about all things. Of course, the most important thing that we addressed were just the power and the importance of teaching your kids to save. And so we do have some of that information. Hey there, Lisa from Wisconsin, and Brenda from New Mexico, Pat from Anaheim. I just see all of the different places popping up. But we're just going to go ahead and first of all, with what Kyree was sharing for the parents is greenlightcard.com, greenlightcard.com. And what a wonderful resource for parents to teach your children, or even if you have kids in your life, maybe you're not a parent, but you have an influence in the lives of some of the children in your life. Greenlightcard.com. What a wonderful resource. And then for those of you that are in the Orange County area, SoCal, be sure to go ahead and look up if you feel brave enough to give it a try. And if you've been longing and doing the countdown until the days we could get our feet back on the Disney property, then go ahead and get your tickets from disneyland.disney.go.com. And then you'll just click around, or you can just do /tickets, and then that'll be there for you as well. So that was wonderful. Well, we are super excited about tonight's guest. I am like Okay, we need to bring him out. But before we do, we have one quick message from A New Thing Live. Don't go away. Pa! We're here. And we're crazy and we're laughing. When I see you at church, I'm going to do the whoa. And you're going to be like, whoa.
I'm only 5'3", girl, and I'm a size 10 shoe. That is not right. There's something wrong with that, first of all, okay? I mean, I wanted to stand up and be like, yes!
I'll fall asleep. And it's like, I'll wake up in the morning and I go, oh, my blush is still on.
Definition, exhibition, simplify complexity. I get to comfort you today because I got a kitchen.
Je t'aime Paris, je t'aime Paris.
Oh, oui, oui, mademoiselle.
If you haven't yet, don't forget, subscribe to A New Thing Live.
Your husband is crazy, okay? He just said, can I get her phone number? No. We sure do have a lot of fun here on the show. And because we love fun, we also love to celebrate birthdays. And my goodness, are there so many birthdays in the month of April? I was trying to think back, how many months ago was that? Because something lovely must be going on 9 months prior to that. However, I just wanted to do a huge birthday shout out to my nephew. Today is his birthday. Happy birthday, I love you. We love you. You're so loved. You're just such a precious man with a gentle spirit. And so I'm just wish I could be there to hug you and squeeze you in person all the way in Wisconsin. And then speaking of Wisconsin, my niece's birthday was also this month. Olivia, happy birthday to you. Same thing. I know you had a wonderful birthday. Papa Duck sent me the video and oh my goodness. And so did your mom. And you just totally brought tears to my eyes. So happy birthday to you. And then a slew of other birthdays from today and throughout the rest of the week. I want to say also happy birthday to my little sis, Kaylin. It's her 30th birthday. So happy birthday to you. It's my brother's birthday, who actually he's a Catholic priest. So yes, I call you Gino, but to so many other, your parish, you are Father Gino. So happy birthday, Father Gino. And then my bestie, Missy, out in Nashville. And then my girl, Christy, out here in the OC in the Ontario area. And then my Mima, no longer with us, but April was also her birth month when she was with us. And so just a beautiful month. Easter, resurrection, celebration, new life, a new thing live. Come on, somebody. There's all kinds of good stuff happening in the month of April. So we just wanted to do a huge shout out. Okay, so are you ready? Because I am. So question for you. Have you ever been so radically changed by an event or by a person that it became your life's mission to tell the whole world? You're like, I gotta tell not just a person, but I gotta tell everybody. Well, tonight's guest is here to share and to tell his story, which he says, quote unquote, his life was once filled with the life of darkness until meeting somebody who so radically transformed and changed his life. He's been different. He says, in fact, life's been different ever since. Would you please welcome tonight to A New Thing Live, Marco Moncada. Marco, where you at? Where you at? Yes.
We're here. We're together, but not together at the same time.
Yes. How are you? I know, my friend. How have you been? How are things going? It's so good to see you.
Well, I currently live 6 minutes away from the beach in San Clemente, so I will brag that my life has been different in every way. How are you doing?
I have to say that somebody had mentioned to me, yes, like Marco, yeah, Marco's got this great little setup in San Clemente, and I'm like, the beach? Oh yeah. I'm like, like, okay, because that's like a personal, private, quiet prayer of mine. Like, Lord, can I just live like not just by the beach, but like I want to hear it. I want to see it, I want to smell it, I want to hear it.
Have you ever been to San Clemente?
I have.
Okay, you know where the pier is?
I do know where the pier is. Yep.
I live in that neighborhood.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So,
amazing. Now I do have to ask you a question because I feel like you're frozen. I don't know if it's just on my end, but team, if you can text me and tell me whether or not in the back private chat, if you can let me know if he's frozen on your end too, because your face looks great. You did for you froze frame at a really nice place, but
I'm not on my. I'm moving.
what?
So I'm not frozen on my.
You're not? Okay,
No.
let's see what the team is saying here. Yeah, the team is saying you're frozen. Bummer. Okay. Well,
Well,
oh, I can kind of see you there. I don't know if you can scoot a little closer, maybe to where your internet, but I know you have your nice little setup there.
well, I'm here. Can you hear my voice?
I can hear your voice. Yeah, if that works for you, then that works for me. But you know, we like
Yeah.
because you're an expressive guy, so we kind of want to see what you're saying.
Hopefully my internet will catch up. I'm not sure the
Okay,
answer.
well, it's good to have you on here. So I'm just like looking at all the stuff you've got going on, Marco. My goodness. So you've got Life's Been Different. Talk to us a
Yes.
little bit about that because I feel like there's something more to that than just that coined phrase or your trademarked phrase, Life's Been Different. Tell us why life's been different for you.
Well, Life's Been Different started off in 2012 with a song that I had written for my first music project. And throughout my life, I just carried it. Even in secular music, I was talking about Life's Been Different. And when I got radically changed at Rock Conference 2016, it kind of like all culminated into this one foundational point that life's been different is really in its roots the word repentance. And so when one changes their mind so radically into the form of changing their direction, your life becomes different. And obviously, maybe not obviously, but I am a Christian. So turning from the world to God, from sin to Christ, it all came together into this one moment of my life is radically changed. And it's my life purpose now to influence individuals to be the best version of themselves and to live the best life they can. And so Life's Been Different is much more than a shirt or a hoodie. My music is produced through Life's Been Different. My videos are produced through Life's Been Different. We just released our first commercial, a Life's Been Different commercial. And I have many other things in my heart that I don't feel like it's the time to share. But Life's Been Different it's like a full ministry. The podcast, the radio show, my music, clothing, and upcoming a book that I've been writing. So yeah.
Wow, that is so many streams, but I love hearing that. To me, that's saying, yes, I have something to say and I want to share it in every avenue and every possible place available at my fingertips. And so, well done. And I just totally applaud you and of course support you in what, what you're doing and the mission that's in your heart. So your life is different now. Can you share a little bit about what your life looked like before it became different? I recalled seeing in a recent, I believe it was a video YouTube post, you talked about, really hungering or going after that celebrity lifestyle because you are a musician, you are an artist, and just kind of like looking at the celebrity lifestyle of the rich and famous. And then that was just very appealing to you to the point where it began to consume you. But then it took you to a place that even though you were going after something that you thought you wanted, you really didn't want it. It's not really what you really wanted.
Right. Well, first, am I still frozen? Am I back?
I can see you a little better now. Sometimes it glitches, but you're not just in one frame for a minute. So this is good.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really like talk too much about it, but
Yes.
I remember an interview with Pastor Luke Esslinger, and he was like, "Please tell people what you actually did." I'm like, "Okay, well, it is what it is." But
Well, but people need to know where you came from to know like the significance of what you got pulled out of, and the power that it took to get you out of that. Like this, to me, that just says everything about the power of who God is and what he can do in a second, in a millisecond.
Okay, well, I won't name the names of some of the people I was with, but
Sure.
from 2013 or 2012 to 2016, there was a very famous rapper, very, very, very famous rapper, and he started a rap group that consisted of himself, two other guys, and me, and we were this rap group, and we became one of the fastest growing rap groups in Los Angeles. And so I was on the radio, I was playing sold out shows every single night. And when I mean sold out shows, I mean anywhere from 5 to 50,000 people, like as far as the eye could see. And then we got picked up by one of the most legendary hip hop artists of all time. If I said his name, people would know who it is. On Billboard, his biography on Billboard is that he was the first West Coast rap star. So it was NWA, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and this gentleman. He was like before Snoop Dogg, and like he's actually the only rapper that's on Biggie Smalls and Tupac's albums at the same time. There's only one. So if you actually do your research, you can find out who I'm talking about. I was on his album, and so he took us, and he was a bit older, so we became his group, and we toured the Western United States, and I was on the radio in about 10 different states, and I was on the verge of my life, my dreams becoming true. And in all of that, I got in trouble with the law, and by God's grace, I was never convicted, but it was a massive wake-up call to me. And that week when I came home, it was in a different state. I got in trouble in Austin, Texas, so that was a big deal. So when I finally made it back to California, that was the week of Rock Conference 2016. It was August going into September, and I just knew everything was changing. I knew that like God had called me to make music. I grew up a Christian. My mom had been going to the Rock since 2001. Not that I ever went with her, but she would go nonetheless and tell me about this awesome guy named Jerry that was preaching, and it was awesome, and I should come next week, and I never did. And so one day I did, and I went to Rock Conference 2016, but I went to the conference expecting to hear something that would change my life. The Bible says in Mark chapter 4, with the sower sows the words, that they are those that hear the word and they have the good ground. But then when the word gets to the good ground, there's different levels, 30, 60, and 90. That doesn't mean one seed is going to go into 90 plants. What that means is that what's received, the level that it's received, it will reach its full potential. So I sat, and a couple verses after that, it says, for what you hear, the measure at what you hear is the measure that it will come into your life. I'm not quoting directly, but that's the principle. So the measure at what you receive something is the measure that it will grow, speaking about revelation or the word of God. And so I went expecting to change, and I heard, like we say at our church, the one word from God that changed my life forever. And that night, I decided in my mind that I was going to follow Jesus, but I wasn't just going to follow Jesus like I had believed in Jesus my whole life. I decided that I was going to follow Jesus for the rest of my life, no matter what it looked like or no matter what happened. And that night, I gave my life to Jesus. I believe, even though I said I was a Christian my whole life, I believe that it was September 3rd, 2016, that I became born again and I got saved. And at the measure at which I received the word that night is why in this 5 years, I believe my process has been expedited, because I decided in my mind that I was going to do something all in. I call it, I jumped out of the plane with no parachute, and I've been on a free fall ever since. And so like that whole night, then I went to Israel for 2 weeks. Was on the ship on the Sea of Galilee. I heard Jesus call me to follow him. I wrote in my journal, if I never make music for the rest of my life, that's okay. Like, I'll give everything up for you. then me, you, and Pastor Kimberly met together, and we went to Nicaragua, and my whole life just got radically changed. And then I met with Joel and Anna Ervolino about 2 months after that, and I was at Beyond, and I just jumped all in. And so the level at which I was so high that when I say I left everything behind, it wasn't like, oh, I stopped making music in my friend's like home studio. Like I either had a ticket to stardom and to like sell my soul to the devil, or I had a ticket to like get into covenant with the living God, and I had to make a decision that day, and I did. And so ever since then, my life's been different ever since, you know. It's kind of like, hopefully I didn't lag too much. Oh, I can't hear you. Wait, Cyndi, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? I don't know.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Boom.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Just the beauty and the power of what you just shared, Marco, because really, truly, one word from God is what changes our life forever. And you held to that word to such the degree that you said, I am willing, like this is what my life looks like for the rest of my life. One word for the rest of my life. And what a powerful statement you just made, saying that you could have sold your soul to the devil in that sense where you were headed music wise and with all of what was happening, but you decided to make covenant with the living God. My goodness. And so that just is such a powerful statement. Thank you so much for sharing, and for even, your willingness to being vulnerable about what God brought you out of. And I love that because I see, but I remember, her, sharing, a little bit about you with me. And I knew that she had her. And then when I saw, she's like, oh, my Marco, he's going to Nicaragua, One Nation, One Day. She was so happy. She was so proud of you. I had no idea that we were going to be on the same team. In fact, I do believe we have a picture when we were together in Nicaragua, One Nation, One Day. There you are. Wow. There you are with doing your peace sign, and I'm somewhere. Oh, I'm huddled down over the gal with the pink hat. Oh, I'm right beneath Kaylin. But what a power!
Right under KJ.
Yes, yes, that was such a wonderful time, and I have to say, I was so impressed with you as a young adult on this trip. Because I remember, we're on these buses, and that particular trip was muggy. It was hot. I remember coming back out of doing our, we would go, we learned these routines and dances and skits for the kids and everything. We'd come back on the bus, and it was so hot. Do you remember our water being warm and not caring because it was so good? It was so good to drink warm water because of how thirsty and parched we were. Do you remember that?
That trip changed my life. Yeah.
Yes. But I remember at some point you got up. Here's a bus full of leaders and, some adults that were older than you. And you just had this no fear. And you just got up and you said, this is what we're called to do. And we're here to touch and impact the lives of these kids. And you led us in prayer. And, I just was so moved by your courage and your boldness, just to do what God really, why we had been sent to lay hands on the sick, see them recover, to bring the good news to this country of people who needed the good news. I mean, I remember because I was sent as a photographer and a videographer. So that was my primary role, was to capture. And I captured some pretty amazing things with you, like up on the stage, teaching and sharing with the kids. But then also to the same degree, sometimes it'd be like, well, where's Marco? And there'd be a few of you with some others from our team, laying hands on individuals. And I do remember, and maybe you can refresh my memory, I feel like there was somebody, I don't know that he was blind, but it was one of the first places that we went, and you had laid hands with somebody, another individual on this trip. Was that person blind? Can you remind me of that story? I know they'd been healed. I know there was a healing. That much I do remember.
One whole side of his face was paralyzed.
That's
so much so that like his eye was drooping. Like if he smiled, like only one half of his face. And yeah, I laid hands on him, and Jesus healed him through my faith. So yeah.
Yes, I love that. Well, and that's the thing is the Lord does the healing. I was telling someone that the other day. I'm like, we're not responsible. We're not the healers. He's the healer, but he still needs us to be used as a conduit. If you're watching and you are a believer, Church of Christ, we are called to do what the Great Commission said, which is, yes, to preach the gospel to every creature, but also Jesus said he was giving us his authority and he was sending us out, that signs and wonders we would do. He said, those who believe in my name, greater works we would do. And we are called to lay hands on the sick, to see them recover, to bring glad tidings to the poor. And so I loved that, though, seeing your faith, just saying, this is what we're doing. This is what this trip is all about. And so that's when I, got to know you, obviously, and it just was such a powerful and a precious time. I keep in touch with a lot of our team still because God just did something so very unique with our team and our squad and others that were on the trip as well. I think every squad could say the same, but that was such a powerful time. So your music now, so you didn't stop your music. You said, if I never write another song again, you were okay with that. But you just, you said that you're continuing to release music, and you just released another single not too long ago. Is that correct?
Yeah. So actually, I did give up music.
Okay.
Actually, didn't think about it at all. Like, it was done. Like, I was totally like, okay, I'm never gonna do this again. But then in November of 2017, as I was praying one morning, God was like, okay, your foundation is solid enough for me to trust you. And so he called me back into it, and he gave me very specific direction to make these 2 songs, one of which is called Promised Land, that came out January 1st of 2020. And then I just released the second song on March 15th. So last month. And along with the second song, I put together a small EP. It's called The Wilderness. It has only the 2 songs on it, but it has an introduction. I actually put my Life's Been Different message in the project, so it flows in with the music, and the Life's Been Different message. It's kind of like a podcast project. It's kind of like I have a good friend that's a pretty high music manager, manages a lot of really big people. She's like, I've never seen anyone do that, because so many people are accustomed to podcasts that now they'll listen to someone for 15 minutes. So I threw my message, because I don't want to just make music. I'm not a music artist. I'm a message giver. And so whatever I'm going to be giving my message through, whether it's music, whether it's my podcast, whether it's my radio show, whether it's on A New Thing Live, or whether it's on my new book that I'm writing, I have one message, and that's that your life can become different if you give it to Jesus. So no matter what platform I'm going to give it on, whether it's on a t-shirt, hey, what's your shirt about? Life's been different, huh? It has been different. Now, you got a minute? Let me tell you. My life's been different because I met someone and he radically changed my life. So it's all about the message. So I put my message in my EP, and you should go check it out on lifesbeendifferent.com, or you can follow me on Instagram or my Life's Been Different Instagram to get it. But yes.
Well, I love that. And that really is what the Lord does. And I can totally attest to that as well, because this show is that very thing. It's something that I just said. It took me to a dark place. I left the ministry, and I was like, I'm going after producing. I'm going to be doing a show. And I thought I had everything. I thought I was ready. I thought that I was everything that I needed to get it done. And it was nothing like that. It just took me quickly in another direction. And so when I kind of came back to really who I truly am, I was done with that whole idea until last year. The Lord just started, in my heart, just letting me know, like, no, that dream was there for a reason, but now we're going to do it my way. And so, totally having a blast, but I totally, had to take that dream down from the shelf and, dust that off. And because I'm a little bit older and that was up there a little bit longer. So exciting. Well, we do want to play a little snippet of Love and Freedom. Are you okay with that?
Do it.
If we do that. So we're going to have to tap on the YouTube link because for some reason on this platform, it doesn't really give us the option just to listen to the file, but we did locate your song and I want to talk all about it, but we're going to play the song first. So let's hear a little bit of Marco's Love and Freedom.
Wake up every morning with a prayer. Before I check my phone, before I look in the mirror, I get on my knees and lift my hands in the air and thank God for another day here. Like everything before this, what I promised wasn't me. I made a few mistakes but came clean and now I'm free. Not everybody wakes but everybody goes to sleep. But hey, I'm all good, and because what I believe, I feel like David with the sling. And you could be like me. Listen, you were loved before you ever did a thing. So words of love like the Black A.M.P.A.S. Love and freedom bring unity, and like the Beatles, let it be. Every day, yeah. Keep praying, praying, praying. Every day, keep praying for love. Every day, keep praying. Keep praying, praying, praying. Every day, got to keep praying for freedom. Keep praying, praying, praying. Keep praying, keep praying. I'm like, what's up, God? Yo, it's not your fault. I understand why it's been so hard. Why everything we see, yo, it seems so dark. All these problems in the world are coming from our hearts. It don't seem logical, all things possible. Listen, keep the faith and you can get through any obstacle. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, tomorrow. Yo, just receive the love and turn around. If you a prodigal, you got it now, just push straight through. If I could do what I know you can too. Life's been different, all things made new. Between black and white and red and blue is man. With all that, I'm got news we can overcome. Got to keep praying for our freedom. Yeah. Sunshine.
Wow, Marco, what a song. What a song. Oh my goodness. First of all, there's so much joy and freedom in that song. You can just feel the freedom. Actually, somebody even on YouTube said the words and the beat, Pat LaBouve, had me moving in my seat. I'm so proud of him. Very nice voice. And then your uncle's actually, he's on here, your uncle Victor from Prescott Valley, Arizona. So hello, Uncle Victor. We're glad that you're here too. Yes. So
Yeah.
good. So tell me, how, first of all, some of those instruments were just having too much fun. Having too much fun, that choir having too much fun. How are you inspired? What inspires you to write a song or to write the words? Of course, again, you said that you're a message giver. You bring and give a message. So how did you create Love and Freedom?
Well, everything's live, first of all. So there's about 16, I believe, 17 people on that song with me. Couldn't have made it without them. Wouldn't have wanted to make it without them. And but that original version, the original instrumental that I got, the sample was only 17 seconds long. And within the 17 seconds of the original music that I got, I heard the entirety of, I like made the whole song in my mind. And then the song took me about 3 years to make. Not that it took that long to make the song, but my process of Marco Moncada took 3 years for me to get to the point. But I have some pretty big people on that song. Some of them on contract I can't name, but there's some really, really, really good musicians on that song. It's all live. Lyrically, I don't really write that many lyrics. So I'm not that type of artist where I'm like writing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I actually have to get like a song, and then I actually write my verses first, and then I write the chorus after. Most people write the chorus first and then they write. But you know what? I just prayed. I actually wrote that song a couple years ago. So prophetically, a lot of the things I talked about in the song are happening today. And God told me not to put it out until a specific time. And I had, I believe that preparation precedes anointing. So Colleen Casey, who's my partner in Life's Been Different, she helped me, start Life's Been Different.
Yes.
Over the last few years, completely prepared. And we were sitting on pretty much the finished product. But right before the pandemic, the Lord nudged me back into the studio and finish to put the bass and the trumpet and to rewrite a little bit of parts of my verse. And I did. And then the pandemic hit. And then all of this stuff started happening. And then I waited for the right time. And it was actually like, I found out like about a month or so before the Lord like nudged me on when to put it out. And I just kept hearing March 15th, March 15th, March 15th. And so one morning I was like, well, what is March 15th? And the Lord told me to look it up. So I Googled March 15th, and March 15th is actually the day of Great Lent. And so for Christians, that's a day of starting new beginnings as you like Lent for God. And so like I was, you know what I mean? And so I put it out on that day. And I'm like a very interesting musician. Like when I say I only have those two songs, I only have those two songs.
Yeah.
Like there isn't. And so like I won't make another one until like I feel it. You know what I mean? And then I'll write it. I'm not like just writing over a bunch to be a rapper. I'm not a rapper. I make music, but I'm a message giver. So if I feel like it's time to write a new song, I'm going to work, make it as good as I can. I'm going to put it out, and then I'll continue doing what I'm doing. So that's kind of like my process. I think that answers your question. I hope.
Yeah, it does. And I can totally relate because the one book I've written was written that way. I just felt this prompting to sit down and write it. And it just all came like beginning to end. There was no like me trying to sit and, muddle through my mind. And then the same thing with a song that I wrote, probably, I don't know, 2009-ish, 2010. I woke up 2 mornings in a row singing this song, and I like exactly what you said. I knew every note. I could hear all the chords lucky for me, I played the piano. So I sat at the piano and I played it, recorded it, and then just saw what the Lord did with that, and it just was a wonderful project for that time. But, and again, I don't ever just sit at the piano and try to conjure up more songs. It was just like, oh, the Lord just gave me a song. And then it was used at a pastor's district of our Foursquare denomination. And we had a single and pastors were buying it. And then the children's choir sang it live. And it just was so precious to see the pastors at that conference responding to that song. But it was nothing that I did. I just, have open ears to hear, what God was downloading to me. So I love that. Well, thank you so much. Well, I'm excited. So you've got a podcast and you're on the radio. You're working on a book. You have your website. Let's pull up his website because we definitely want people to be able to. So that's his information card. Yes. So IG is Life's Been Different. Twitter, Life's Been Diff. And then the podcast is available on Apple, iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and then also on your actual website. Is that correct? Yeah. Are we missing anything?
Lifesbeendifferent.com is you could find everything on there.
Perfect.
And I actually do everything myself. So all the graphics, all the website design, I've done everything myself. I couldn't wait anymore.
Well, thankfully, I was thinking I know that he did communications before with the Rock San Clemente. I was thinking that in my mind as I was prepping for this. So that's exciting to know, that you're able to do that. That's a gift because there's a lot of people that would love to launch a business or launch their ministry or organization. And they don't know, they don't have a clue as to how to get it started. So everything looks amazing. Your website looks awesome. Super proud of you.
I just I can't I have to do it the way I see it in my head. Sometimes I'll be running, and then all of a sudden it's I'll get a download and I'm that's it, how it's supposed to look. And I sprint back home and I jump on whatever I'm on and try to make it. But I just have to see it first. Once I see it, I could make it. So I'm not a graphic designer. Don't hit me up for no graphics. I don't know. I can do it for me. So
Oh, Marco. Well, this has been wonderful. Thank you just so much for sharing, what amazing things God brought you out of, and now how he's placed you and put you in a place where you are given a message to share and you're sharing it. My friend, you are being such a good steward of everything. You've received it and you're saying, okay, I'm going to give back. I'm going to give back. I'm going to give back into all these different areas. And I just love that. I think that's just such a precious heart that just shows me your heart and your passion to fulfill the command that God's given you to go out into the world and to preach the gospel. So thank you for that. I wanted to know if you would do us a favor. Would you pray? Because there might be some individuals that are watching either now live or even on live stream on demand that might be at that place where, you said, I was a Christian, but, you kind of had one foot in and one foot out, and you weren't really walking that abundant life in him, that full life of joy, that full life of peace. Yes, do things happen? Yes. We're not saying that it's a bed of roses, but at least you have the guidance and the leading and the direction when you've totally just said, my life is yours. It's not mine anymore. So I want to know if you would be willing to pray as we end this time together, for anybody watching that might be at that place where they've sensed that tug, they've sensed that call, but they just haven't had the courage to step in and fully say yes.
Absolutely. I did want to share one thing real quick.
Yes.
Go, if you would be so kind, whoever's listening, really listen to the Life's Been Different podcast. And let me tell you why. Because Life's Been Different podcast is a podcast that shares people's testimonies and how Jesus changed lives. And so what we do is, if you would even like to share your testimony, you can email us at lifesbeendifferent@gmail.com. And it's really about you and your story, not necessarily about me and mine. And so you can hear people from literally, now it's gone global. There's Sweden, South Africa. There's people like all over the world that are sending in their tests. When I hear their little accents say, and this is why my life's been different, I just start crying my eyes out. But
yeah.
you hear people around the world share why their life's been different. And we always feel like we're the only ones going through what we're going through. So when you hear someone that's going through something and you can relate to that, and it just helps you get like, I can do this too. And when you say I could do this too, there's two types of Christians. The Bible talks about Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus when they're pulling Jesus off the cross. And it says that they believed in Jesus, but for fear of the Jews, they didn't do it publicly. And so there were people that believed in Jesus in Jerusalem, but secret. It actually says in the NLT, they were secret disciples because of they feared the Jews. And so there's a lot of Christians that are secret disciples. But then there's other Peter, James, John, and Andrew. When Jesus called them on the Sea of Galilee, it says they dropped everything immediately to follow Jesus. And so what I want to commission you to is drop everything immediately and follow Jesus, because Joseph and Nicodemus are never mentioned again. But the disciples turned into apostles and go all the way through the New Testament. So it's really a decision that you have to make. Do you want to secretly follow Jesus and never be mentioned again? Or do you want to live the book of Acts? And so I want to pray that for you. It's a decision. It's a decision. Discipleship is a decision. Yeah. And what you do every day is who you really are. And so I want to pray this with you guys. Lord Jesus, we thank you for who you are. We thank you that you are who you said you are. And we thank you that you are who the Bible says you are. And so I just ask the Holy Spirit to just go through this bad Wi-Fi connection, wherever you are, that you would just feel the presence of God, and that you would feel that nudge to follow Jesus. And I'm an evangelist, so I'm going to do it right now. If you've never decided to follow Jesus, the conscious decision that flowed into your heart that you receive salvation for yourself, just repeat after me. It's not you repeating after me. Wherever you are, just believe in your heart and confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is God and that he rose from the dead. Say this with me. Heavenly Father, thank you for sending Jesus to die on the cross for my sins. Jesus, forgive me of my sins. Fill me with the Holy Spirit and make me completely clean. In Jesus' name, amen. So I love you guys. Yo, on the real, just be a Christian. It's way easier. I'm telling you. So,
well, it's been so wonderful having you on here, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming and being a part of the show. And I know we could have went deeper and longer, and then of course, you're always welcome to come back at any time. You're just such a joy and a gem to have. So I'm so blessed to have you in my life. I don't see you even before the pandemic. I didn't get to see you all the time after our trip to Nicaragua, but just thank you, Marco, for being who you are, and continued prayer, blessings, that your ministry will be fruitful. It will continue to multiply. And for any of you wanting to share your testimony with his ministry, visit his website, livespindifferent.com. Visit his website. And then for those of you that just need to be strengthened and encouraged to hear what God has done in the lives of all of these other individuals, like he shared, just to hear all these different people from around the world, that to me is so exciting. And I couldn't agree with you more, because I get very weepy, like if I'm at a conference and it's showing all the different flags of all the nations that are there. Oh, I just start crying, because it's like all of these people, have all been touched by God and are all doing the work of the Lord around the world. And I just love it. It gets me right here. So visit
Yeah,
Go ahead.
when Colleen and I, because life's been different. It's a business. The ministry is becoming multifaceted. So whenever Colleen and I have to have conversations about business, and I'm a creative, so I'm like, oh, how are things going? We always go back to one thing: the people's testimonies, and it strengthens us every single time. Whenever we have to talk through something or make decisions, Colleen's always like, but the people's testimonies. We're being trusted with people's stories, and that is why we do what we do. And so just, yeah, thank you so much. And every time I come to the offices, I do make it a point to stop by your office. I always do. I'm like, I got to see my homegirl, Cyndi.
Yeah.
I
know, it's true. And I so appreciate when you do that too. Of course, this last year I've been, primarily working remotely, but I always loved you coming in the office and, just connecting with me for that quick minute. So thank you. And again, thank you for being on the show tonight, everybody. Marco Moncada with Life's Been Different. Thank you so much, Marco. God bless.
Thank you so much.
All righty. Wow, what a powerful time. Would you please do that? Would you please go visit his website, lifesbeendifferent.com, and you will be strengthened hearing some of the testimonies. I know that I've read some of the testimonies on their Instagram. And let's go back to that info card one more time as well, because they've got Instagram is at Life's Been Different, and he's on Twitter. And then again, he's got a podcast. So even if you just jump on Apple and do a search for Life's Been Different, you will be strengthened and touched and moved by the different stories. Everybody's journey is so different. And yet every one of these individuals have something so amazing to share. So we're so glad that he could be with us tonight. And so now we are wrapping up. I want to thank you again so much for being a part of tonight's show. And we do believe in you. Hey, if you have a prayer request, please, hello@anewthinglive.com. Email us. We want to pray with you. Or anything else. You may say, hey, we have a great idea. Have a great idea for a show or a great idea for a segment. Have you ever thought about this? I get some of those too, which I absolutely love. I think that's wonderful. I have people texting me saying, oh, I met this wonderful person who does this. Just thought they might be a great connection for you for your show. So I really appreciate all of you just for your participation and being an active part of a New Thing Live tribe, because that's what we are. We is a tribe. But if you have not yet subscribed to us, would you do that? Head on over to YouTube. For those of you that are already on YouTube, as soon as we're done, would you hit that subscribe button? Make sure not only to subscribe, but tell your friends about it. Tell your loved ones. I know that just received a text this morning saying, oh my goodness, I binge watched your show over the weekend and even left it on in the background. And I just love that. I thought, oh my goodness, that must be so annoying, because truth be told, I think my own voice is annoying, and maybe other people think their own voices are annoying as well. I don't know. But for me, I'm like, oh, that poor person, but not really poor. They're, a blessed person. But just to think of them binge watching to my voice was like, ah. Anywho, do subscribe to us at A New Thing Live on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. We are on Instagram. We are A New Thing .live on Instagram, A New Thing .live. So do follow us there. And we're just so excited that you were with us today. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for setting some time aside for us on a Monday night. And last but not least, in about from 10 minutes from the time we sign off, I'm actually going to be launching on my personal Facebook and maybe on Instagram if I can get the tech going that direction. About 10 minutes from the time we sign off, I'm actually going to be hosting a live virtual sale. I have about 100 items to sell, and I'm going to do it as quickly as I can. And of course, you think everything through in advance, and then the rubber meets the road, and it's like, oh my goodness, I don't have my numbers, and oh my goodness, this and that. But it's still going to be fun, and it's shopping from your home, and it's virtual and safe. So if you have nothing to do, come and join us tonight on Facebook, Cyndi Galley. we're going to have, I love clothes. I love fashion. And even if I'm not the one shopping, I enjoy helping other people shop. So feel free to jump on my Facebook tonight to do that. Again, we want to say thank you to Marco Moncada and also to Kyree McField, who came on earlier today in that segment with me on how to help your children save. If you didn't catch that, it's really, really great resource. She shared a lot of different fun things you can do with your kids, and she shared some great resources on even opening up little bank accounts and really teaching your kids how to save. So thank you so much for that, Kyree. She's also our segment producer, so double thanks to her. And now, as we talked about Disneyland opening this Friday, which is why I have this on, because it matches my rose gold Disney ears. Okay. And then I have my little rose gold cup brought to you from Cali Girl Crafts. And, but I wanted to sing a little song. So when I was a little girl, I loved the Mickey Mouse Club. And I'm talking the OG. I'm talking the Annette Funicello Mickey Mouse Club. And then, of course, I got a little older, 7 or 8 years old, and then it was the all-new Mickey Mouse Club with, like, Lisa Welchon. It was the Curtis and Angel and Shantae. If any of you can remember any of those, please do a shout out on there and go, yes, I remember them. I don't remember the whole list, but I do remember those few on there. I'm not going to give any more names because I could be wrong from that point on. But I've always just had this huge affinity, of course, being raised in California, going to Disneyland since I was a little girl. And then in my, early 30s, getting my first annual pass, and then just having Disneyland in my backyard and being an annual pass holder. I've just been, I guess, kind of a little bit spoiled. So when everything happened with the pandemic and just shut everything down, as Kyree and I were sharing, it just was such a heartbreaking thing to no longer hear the fireworks and just to know that the life as we had known it had stopped even at Disneyland. It just seems like, oh my goodness, even at Disneyland. Now, I know that Disney World opened up sooner, and so even some loved ones of mine have gone over there and taken some wonderful pictures. But Disneyland, y'all, is opening up here in Anaheim this Friday. So I'm going to sing my little song that we used to sing, that Annette Funicello and the Mickey Mouse Club that I used to sing to. Now it's time to say goodbye to all our company. M-I-C. See you real soon. K-E-Y. Why? Because we like you, love you. M-O-U-S-E. So that was to all the Mickey Mouse Club fans out there. I'm personally a goof. He's my favorite. But I wanted to say goodbye, Disney style. Have a wonderful week. Remember to keep your heart open to that new thing that God has in store for you. We love you. You can do it. You're stronger than you know. And we will see you next Monday night at 7 p.m. PT on A New Thing Live. Are you ready? Hey, help us get the word out about our new show. Subscribe today, right now, to A New Thing Live.